Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lauren Hardy, and today I'm going to be continuing the episode series of the 4 phases of the market cycle. Hopefully you watched the first episode on this series so you understand the importance of understanding the 4 phases of the real estate market cycle, how it can make you money, how if you don't understand it, you can lose money, and why having a virtual investing mindset is key to big profits. Hopefully, after listening to my rant, you really understand why it's important to understand the phases of the real estate market cycle, and you also understand why it's important to have a virtual investing mindset as an investor who wants to make more money and capitalize on all the cycles. I'm now going to go into the first phase, and this phase is going to be called Buyer's Market Phase 1. Now, I did not make up the names of these. I have just heard it in research. Some people refer to the names or the phases of the market cycles as like quadrant 1, quadrant 2. Some people call it buyer's market 1, buyer's market 2. Really, that's up to you. For the sake of this video, I'm going to stay consistent and I'm going to call them buyer's market, seller's market 1 and 2. So for the first phase, it's buyer's market phase 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the characteristics of buyer's market phase 1. I'm going to share with you how to invest in buyer's market phase 1. And I'm going to give you a real life example of buyer's market phase 1 in my career to really give it some context for you guys. But before I get started, if you like this episode, please make sure you share it with a friend. If you've learned something so far, make sure you share the knowledge and help someone else out because this stuff is really, really important. I promise you, what you are going to learn today is so important. It was so important when I first learned it. So I know this is something that you guys will really benefit from. So first, let's get into the characteristics of buyer's market phase 1. This is what it looks like. The market is starting to be oversupplied with properties. The market is looking overbuilt. There are more units than there are people to buy or rent these units. And units, I mean households or houses. You're also going to see that the days on market is starting to increase from what it previously was. And you're noticing that there's not any new jobs in the market. And you have to understand that jobs bring people and people buy property. Let me deep dive this concept for you. Job growth brings people to a city. They say for every 1 professional job, 3 to 4 service jobs are created. This is called the multiplier effect. What I mean by service job, that's the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. These service industries support that 1 professional. This creates more jobs, more employment, more people to the area, and more people that need housing. But in buyer's market phase 1, you don't have as many people, but you have too many properties because the area is likely overbuilt. When there are more properties than there are people who are willing to buy them, prices have to start coming down. What you might see in this phase is prices drop, say 20%. And what that means is if somebody just bought a home and this is now happening a couple months later, they basically lost their down payment because most people put 20% down on a home. So now they have no equity and they're actually getting to a point where they're underwater on the property. An interesting phenomenon about buyer's market phase 1 is that people start getting really negative about real estate. Now, not sophisticated investors, but your friends, your family, neighbors, people that aren't professionally in real estate investing start getting real negative, and they will look at you as the investor that you're crazy for buying property right now because real estate is not cool. I remember being in buyer's market phase one at the start of my career, and my friends were going, why in the world would you want to flip houses? Like, could you actually make money doing that? They thought I was crazy. So why do people hate on real estate at this time? Well, it's human nature. People are naturally kind of hardwired to think that whatever the current condition is right now is going to happen forever. This is a phenomenon that has been going on since human existence. We forget the big picture and we live very in the moment. So when real estate is down, it feels like it's going to be down forever. But not you as the sophisticated investor, because you understand the 4 phases of the real estate market cycles. So how do you invest in buyer's market phase 1? You are going to want to buy for cash flow, and you are going to want to look for properties that have a strong cash flow, because there's not going to be a lot of appreciation right now, at least not immediately. If you set yourself up as a virtual investor, you want to look for territories that have strong local leadership, that are taking action to bring jobs and people back to the city. These types of actions can be tax abatements, incentives to companies to move there, free land. If you take some time to call the local city's economic development departments, you will see that there is a big difference between the different local leaderships in different territories. And there are some territories that are really putting effort into building out and making, that market strong again, which will attract people to live there again and attract companies to move there. So if you know that a city is going to experience some significant job growth because they are incentivizing companies to move there, this is a really, really good time to jump into this market, because this could be, an emerging market that is going to just go nuts in value as soon as things start picking up. Once there are more jobs, they're going to attract more people, and these people need places to live, and they're going to be making money because they have jobs. So this is again why being a virtual investor, having that concept that you can go to these markets, is very, very important. So let's put some context to it. A real life example of buyer's market phase 1 in my career. So the recession that ticked off in 2008 and that led us to buyer's market phase 1 is right when I got started in real estate investing as a house flipper. Prices hit their lowest in 2012 in my local market. And if I knew what I knew today, I would have bought way more houses. I am kicking myself that I didn't buy as many deals, back then, and that I didn't keep them as buy and holds, because these homes actually cash flowed in California at the time. But it's crazy because now, properties do not cash flow where I live in my local market. But back then they actually did. And the sophisticated investors that understood this made a fortune buying these properties at that time. Another opportunity that I really blew it on was creative financing. Because sellers really, really needed to get out of their homes, they were willing to come up with creative, financing options so we could buy their home subject to, or they would sometimes seller finance for us. If I knew how to do those strategies at that time, which I didn't because that was right when I first got started, I would have a bunch of cash flowing rentals right now. I would be able to retire. So I definitely blew it on this one. But, I needed that perspective. I just got started in real estate investing. I didn't know what phase we were in. And again, there's that human nature. It was impossible at that time for me to imagine that house prices would ever go up again. Now, even though we were in a national downturn in real estate prices were soft pretty much across the board in the nation, there were still opportunities to buy these properties and hold them in cash flow. Now, say you are in an area that really got hit at that time and is completely economically depressed and the leadership wasn't very strong and it really didn't recover. you could still jump, go virtual, and go to a territory that did recover or would recover. This actually happened to my dad. He had a rental portfolio in the town that he grew up. He invested where he was comfortable, which was this town in Ohio where he grew up. And in the recession, this town actually never recovered. Still to this day, they never regained their real estate values. So if my dad, although I could argue he definitely had a virtual mindset because he lived in California, was investing in Ohio, but he was very stuck, I think, in, kind of staying where he was comfortable, which was a place he lived in before. He probably could have, gotten out of those rentals at the right time and moved and gone to another market that, was actually capable of recovering in that recession. So you see how having a virtual mindset is very, very important to building long-lasting wealth in real estate over your career, right? Make sure you comment below and tell me that you get it. Now, I'm going to pause right here because we are going to go into the buyer's market phase 2, which is the next phase in the real estate market cycle. So make sure you watch the next video. But remember, if you are interested in having that virtual mindset, I want to help you. Please go to www.virtualinvestingmastery.com and fill out an application today. And you can learn how I have helped hundreds of people adopt that exact virtual mindset and successfully wholesale in virtual territories across the nation. Thank you so much for listening today, and I'll see you next time.